Sam Altman. Now, a lot of people may not be familiar with Sam Altman because they only are familiar with the technology that he's co-founded and then released over into the general public, which completely upended everything, right? But Sam Altman is the founder and former CEO, and now back being CEO of OpenAI, which is the company that released ChatGPT and that Microsoft made a $12 billion investment into. That was recently upended because he was fired and released from his job off the board and the chairman. But he was recently reinstated. So let me bring y'all up to speed on what's going on over there.
Founder and ousted leader that will now return to OpenAI as CEO. We know that these negotiations have been going on in the last 24 hours or so. It was unclear what that actually looked like, but it looks like there is a preliminary agreement in place at the moment. It looks like some of the finer details now kind of getting hammered out. But you should also mention, it looks like the board is changing up as well. When you look at, remember, some of the previous members, you had Mira Murati, the chief technology officer, you had the chief scientific officer, as well as some of the other kind of experts in the tech space. Now it looks like we're going to get both Taylors, that's Brett Taylor, of course, D'Angelo and Summers, all in that new initial board, essentially creating a little bit more support for Sam Altman.
So just to give you a brief synopsis of what's been happening, he was recently fired by the board in a coup in which they felt like they would do better without him. I don't know how they would do that. It was similar to the Steve Jobs situation, where Steve Jobs was released in the late 80s, early 90s from Apple, even after founding a phenomenal company. And I see OpenAI going the same way, in which there was a lot of employees that revolted. Over 500 was willing to say that they were willing to leave the company. And then all of his homies that had executive positions that were around him also was saying that they were leaving and quitting as a result of the protests, which absolutely positively upset Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of Microsoft, right? Microsoft's artificial intelligence is largely powered by their investment in OpenAI, okay? And again, this is the company that basically runs and released ChatGPT, all right? So the OpenAI saga appears to be in a holding pattern, at least for the moment, as hundreds of employees threaten to leave en masse if the board didn't resign and reinstate Sam Altman as CEO of the artificial intelligence powerhouse. Microsoft CEO Nadella made it clear in the interviews Monday that the company wouldn't be opposed to Altman returning to OpenAI with changes to the board, including provisions to keep Microsoft from being surprised and the matter that it was on Friday, learning of Altman's ouster minutes before the rest of the world. He says one thing, and I'll be very, very clear, is we're never going back to a situation where we get surprised like this ever again. That's done. I've never seen Nadella actually pull a move like this where he's so forthcoming and transparent in his thoughts and saying, listen, I'm not playing no games. This will never play out exactly how it played out again. He added that Microsoft would be more resolute in ensuring that its customers won't be surprised and will definitely take care of all other governance issues and anything like that. As of Tuesday morning, 95% of OpenAI's employees had signed a petition saying that they may choose to resign from OpenAI and join newly announced Microsoft subsidiary run by Sam Altman. And obviously, this is prior to Sam Altman's return to OpenAI as CEO and this chaotic win for Microsoft. So again, I told you guys that I'm going to be keeping an eye on this and that I was going to be paying attention and to ensure that I keep you guys up to speed, especially when it comes to your investments that you are making in these large companies on the stock market, as an opportunity to invest in companies that you otherwise would have never had an opportunity to do so. So again, I am a hardcore Microsoft fan as far as an investor. 25 to 28% of my portfolio is invested in Microsoft. They have done phenomenally this year, and Sam Altman seems to be back as CEO of OpenAI as a result of Microsoft pulling its weight and saying that they're not having it. All right, so that's what's going on that front. On another front, Tesla recently did a deal, a $100 million deal with BP.
There's a new push to bring more charging stations for electric car owners. Oil and gas company BP is buying $100 million worth of EV superchargers for Tesla. The superchargers will not look like other Tesla chargers, as they will be branded with a BP Pulse logo. Installation for the chargers will begin next year at BP-owned locations and some third-party location like Hertz Car Rental.
So BP did a deal with Tesla. The oil giant did a deal with Tesla and $100 million deal with the oil giant, and said that it was only a matter of time. The fuel industry is starting to take notice of the increasing presence of electric vehicles in the automotive market. And one oil giant has taken steps to make the most of this popularity. BP announced in a statement that it has signed an agreement with Tesla that will bring $100 million worth of supercharger hardware to gas stations and third-party locations inside of the United States. They said, this is the official statement from BP via X, formerly known as Twitter. It said, we're buzzing to announce an investment of $100 million into Tesla ultra-fast EV chargers in the U.S. So basically what this means is now they're starting to transition and then add electrical charging to the gas stations in addition to the pumps in order to continue to build the infrastructure. And I'm sure that they're getting some kind of subsidy from the federal government in the Build Back Better plan and the infrastructure deal in order to make sure that they continue to stay along with the times, because the whole world is moving over into electrification, even though Americans are fairly stubborn. The entire world is moving over into electrification. And a lot of times the world is a lot more innovative than we are here in the United States of America. And so instead of sourcing out and building out and continuing to invest in the technology themselves, they then sourced a partner that is already really good at building infrastructure as far as the electrification of vehicles and building out this infrastructure. And they're just going to basically buy the technology from them and then implement it inside of their gas stations. Does anybody remember when I said that I had been vetting out the idea of partnering with gas stations? And I have been doing it, but silently, but vetting out the idea and partnering with gas stations in order to convert over. And I had been doing the due diligence of what it would cost me per electric charger in order to convert over into and partner with these gas station owners in order to continue to build out this infrastructure that I think that long term, 10 to 12 years from now, will be very, very fruitful financially for my company. Yeah, a lot of y'all don't remember that, but I have been talking about that way earlier this year, but on a much smaller scale than BP, obviously, because I don't have $100 million. So that is what's happening on the BP front. And then last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Walmart and Sam's Club is introducing electric chargers throughout the entire country for all of their stores. So Walmart announced plans to build EV charging stations at thousands of Walmart and Sam's Club locations across the country by 2030. They said with a club or store located within 10 miles of approximately 90% of Americans, we are uniquely positioned to deliver convenient charging options that will make EV ownership possible, whether people live in rural, suburban, or urban areas. Walmart's senior vice president of energy transformation said in a release, by installing charging stations across the country, Walmart makes owning an EV easier for drivers who worry they won't be able to find a place to charge their vehicle. Easy access to on-the-go charging is a game changer for drivers who have been hesitant to purchase an EV for concerns they won't be able to find a charger in a clean, bright, and safe location when needed. Already, 280 Walmart and Sam's Club locations in the U.S. offer nearly 1,300 fast charging stations of electric vehicles. The average non-electric car releases over 5 tons of harmful pollutant air carbon each year. EVs, on the other hand, produce no tailpipe pollution, and even plug-in hybrid electric vehicles produce far less tailpipe pollution than gasoline vehicles. So Walmart is now joining on a trend. BP is now joining on in a trend. And the electric vehicle adoption is here, whether you like it or not. They don't care about your feelings. Technology will move forward with or without you. And so it is coming. It is going to continue to be championed. They're going to continue to inspire private investment and infrastructure updates to make sure that this electric vehicle transformation is happening, and that they also reduce foreign oil independence, at least on a smaller scale, okay?